This story is titled, My Girlfriend Laughed About Dumping Me After I Proposed. A few days later, she was screaming at my intercom, begging for forgiveness. Hey guys, so I, 29 male, proposed to my girlfriend Jenna, 27 female, a few months back, and she said she needed time to think. Buckle up cause this shit is wild, and I'm still processing everything that happened. We met at my buddy Luke's housewarming party 3 years ago. She was friends with his girlfriend, and I remember thinking she was completely out of my league. But we hit it off and started dating. First 2 years were awesome. We traveled. Had all our inside jokes, the works. About 8 months in, I got her this orange tabby cat named Milo that she went nuts over. I put him in a small box with a red ribbon around his neck. When he popped out of the box, she thought it was the cutest thing ever and pulled me into a hug. That cat became our baby, and we'd spam each other with pics of him doing dumb cat stuff all day long. Last year we moved in together and everything seemed perfect. We talked about our future together, kids, house, the whole deal. She started dropping these massive hints about marriage. Instagram posts of rings, wedding TikToks, always talking about which of her friends got engaged. So I saved up 3 paychecks and got this princess cut ring I thought she'd love. Made reservations at Romano's, this Italian place she'd been talking about forever, and invited our closest friends to show up after for a surprise celebration. I was nervous AF but excited too. But when I got down on one knee and asked her to marry me, she just stood there with this weird look on her face. I need time to think about it, she finally said. The whole restaurant got quiet. I felt like a complete idiot kneeling there holding the box. In the car ride home, she finally spoke up. The ring isn't exactly what I wanted. I showed you the one from Tiffany's with the bigger diamond. And Romano's? It's not exactly romantic, Blake. Yeah, that's me, BTW. Should have mentioned that earlier, LOL. I was confused as hell. She'd literally sent me pics of this exact style ring, and she was the one who kept talking about Romano's. But I tried to be understanding. I can exchange the ring if that's the issue, I told her. It's not just the ring, she said, staring out the window. I just think we should wait a bit longer. Make sure we're really ready. When we got home, she went straight to bed. Didn't even want to talk about it. I slept on the couch with Milo curled up on my chest, wondering what TF just happened. The next day, she acted like everything was normal. Just casually mentioned, maybe we can revisit the engagement in a few months when you have a better plan. Then kissed me goodbye and went to work like nothing happened. I spent the whole day replaying everything in my head. What better plan did she want? I'd done exactly what she'd been hinting at for months. That night, I tried bringing it up again, but she shut me down. Can we not make this a whole thing? I just want more time. Is that so wrong? I didn't push it, but something felt off. Jenna had always been super direct about what she wanted. This wishy-washy stuff wasn't like her at all. Over the next week, I started noticing little things. She was on her phone way more than usual, smiling at texts but angling the screen away from me. Taking calls in the other room. Working late more often. Nothing super obvious, just little things that didn't add up. I wasn't sure what I was looking at, but every part of me screamed one thing. Something wasn't right, and I wasn't about to sit back and wait to be blindsided. When I asked if everything was okay between us, she got defensive. God, just because I didn't immediately say yes doesn't mean something's wrong. You're being paranoid. Maybe I was, but I couldn't shake this feeling in my gut that something wasn't right. Then things got weird. I was scratching Milo one night when Jenna's phone lit up on the coffee table. I wasn't trying to snoop, but I saw the name Charles with a message preview. Can't wait for Friday, our usual spot? When I asked who Charles was, she snatched her phone up super quick. Just a work friend. We're having a team lunch on Friday. I nodded, but my mind was racing. Jenna had never mentioned a Charles before. And our usual spot didn't sound like a team lunch to me. You know what? I said, keeping my tone casual. I think you're right about the ring. I'll take it back this weekend, and we can pick something you like better together. On the surface, I was calm, but inside, I was already drawing battle lines. After I saw that text from Charles, my brain flipped into overdrive. She didn't know it, but I just set the first trap. No more playing the clueless boyfriend. This was war, and I wasn't walking in blind. She looked relieved. That sounds perfect, babe. Then she kissed me and went to take a shower. I sat there on the couch with this sick feeling in my stomach, trying to figure out what the hell she's on. The next day, I texted my best friend Luke. Need to talk. It's about Jenna. We met up for beers, and I told him what happened. He just listened, then said, Bro, I don't want to say anything, but this sounds fishy. The Jenna I know would have been stoked to get engaged. Something's up. You think she's cheating? I asked. Luke shrugged. I don't know, man. But the timing is weird. She's been pushing for a ring for months. Then when you actually propose, suddenly she needs time? And now she's getting secret texts from some dude you've never heard of. When he laid it out like that, it did sound bad. But this was Jenna. We'd been together for 3 years. Lived together. Had a cat together. She wouldn't just throw that all away, would she? What should I do? I asked him. Keep your eyes open, Luke said. Don't accuse her of anything yet, but maybe pay attention to the signs. So that's what I decided to do. Keep my eyes open. Try to figure out what was really going on. I had no idea what I was about to discover. I decided to work from this coffee shop near our apartment. Jenna never goes there. Says their coffee is overpriced, so I figured it was a safe spot to focus without bumping into her. I was in the corner with my laptop, wearing headphones but not playing anything, when I heard familiar laughter. I looked up and saw Jenna walking in with her friend Tara. They didn't notice me cause of this big plant next to my booth. I was about to call out to them when I heard my name. They sat at the table right behind me, and Jenna was talking about something that caught my attention. He really thought I'd say yes just like that, Jenna said, her laugh sharp and mocking. Not her usual laugh, the one that used to be soft and warm. No, this was something else. Cold. Mean. Like she was laughing at a joke only she understood. Tara chuckled, but looked uneasy. So what's your plan now? You can't keep this up forever. Jenna leaned back in her chair, sipping her latte like she had all the time in the world. Please. Blake's not going anywhere. He's so eager to lock me down. He'd probably propose with a candy ring if I asked. I got him wrapped around my finger. I just have to keep stringing him along until the timing's right. Tara hesitated. And Charles? Jenna's eyes gleamed. Charles is worth the wait. He's not some average paycheck like Blake. He's a real man with real potential. Once his situation is sorted, Blake's done. I'll drop him like last season's shoes. She laughed again, sharp and satisfied. He'll probably cry into his cat or whatever. Sad, really. My stomach turned. Milo, our cat, wasn't just a pet. He was family. And she was using him as a punchline? Tara lowered her voice. But what if Blake proposes again before you're ready to make your move? Jenna shrugged like it was nothing. Then I'll do what I have to. I'll say yes, fake it for a while and dump him later. By then, Charles and I will be set. It'll be messy, but whatever. It's not my problem if Blake's heart gets crushed. That's on him for being so clueless. Tara looked uncomfortable, but Jenna didn't seem to notice or care. She was too busy basking in her own confidence, acting like she was the queen of some game where I was nothing more than a pawn. Blake's sweet, but let's be real, she added, laughing under her breath. He's just a safety net. Nice to have, but not something you actually need when you're ready to upgrade. The words hit harder than any punch. I felt like I was watching a stranger, someone I thought I knew but clearly didn't. That seems harsh, Tara replied. After all this time together? Please, Jenna scoffed. You know as well as I do that this was never the end game. Blake was always transitional. Transitional? What the fuck did that even mean? They changed the subject after that, talking about some office party. I heard a male name mentioned. Charles, I think, but couldn't catch the details. As they got up to leave, Tara lingered for a second, her gaze sweeping the room and landing on me. She caught me sitting there. Her eyes widened slightly, like she wasn't sure if she recognized me or not. She hesitated, then walked past, but not before whispering under her breath, "You deserve better." I didn't react, just met her eyes and said quietly, "I already know." Her face crumpled for a moment, like she wanted to say more, but Jenna was already calling her name. Tara gave me a small, apologetic nod before following her out the door. When they finally left, I sat there for a long time, trying to process what I'd just heard. Jenna was planning something. Something that involved stringing me along, then... What? Dumping me? Cheating? And who was this Charles person from work? I had more questions than answers, but one thing was clear. The woman I thought I was going to marry was keeping major secrets from me. I texted Luke, "Dude, you were right. Just overheard something weird. Need to talk ASAP." We met up at his place that afternoon. When I told him what I'd overheard, he looked pissed. "Bro, I wasn't gonna say anything," he admitted. "But I saw Jenna with some dude at Westfields last week. They looked... close? Westfields? That's on the other side of town. She told me she was having drinks with coworkers near her office." Luke looked uncomfortable. "They weren't acting like coworkers, man. The way she was looking at him. Did you hear a name? Could it have been Charles?" Luke shrugged. "I wasn't close enough, but the guy was wearing this fancy watch, nice suit. Looked like one of those finance bros. We talked for hours." Luke finally gave me the wake-up call I needed. "Look, I don't know exactly what's going on, but something's clearly not right. You need to keep your eyes open. Don't just take her word for everything anymore." It hurt like hell to hear, but deep down I knew he was right. The refused proposal, the late nights at work, the secret texts, the conversation I'd overheard, it all pointed to something shady. "So what do I do?" I asked him. "You've got two options," Luke said. "Confront her now with what little you know, or play along. Find out what she's really up to. Then decide what you want to do with that info." I thought about it all night. Could I really pretend everything was fine while trying to uncover what Jenna was hiding? Emotions? Yeah, they were there, clawing at me. But I wasn't about to let them take me out. Not yet. Time to armor up, keep my head cool, and play the game better than she ever could. If she wanted to treat this like a battlefield, I was ready for war. And I planned to win. The next morning, Jenna asked if I was ready to go ring shopping that weekend. I smiled and said sure. I'd found a few options at Tiffany's to look at. She looked so happy, kissed me hard, and said I was the best. I've never felt so hollow in my life, but I'd made my decision. I needed to know exactly what I was dealing with, how deep this thing went, whether there was anything left worth saving. Luke thought I was being too cautious, said I should just confront her and get it over with. Maybe he was right, but after 3 years, I needed to understand what happened to us. Because if I just confronted her, she won't tell the truth anyways. So I decided to play the perfect boyfriend for a while. Let her think everything was fine, and find out who the hell Charles was, and what exactly Jenna was planning. I checked our phone bill. There was this number she texted and called constantly, especially late at night or when I was at work. It wasn't saved under any name in our family plan, just a number. Then, I got lucky. Jenna fell asleep on the couch one night with her phone unlocked. Those comments about me being transitional and her needing a few more months kept playing in my head, so I looked. What I found was worse than I imagined. There were tons of texts with someone named Charles. Nothing straight up sexual in what I saw, but definitely emotional cheating. Lots of miss you, and inside jokes I wasn't part of. Then I saw a message that hit me like a truck. "Just need to keep Blake on the hook until everything's finalized. He's already talking about proposing again." Charles responded, "What if he does it before we're ready?" Jenna, "I'll say yes, play along, then dump him once everything's settled with your situation. He'll be crushed, but that's not my problem. We've dragged this out too long already." I felt sick. She was planning to accept my proposal, then dump me later? What kind of twisted game was this? And why? I kept scrolling and pieced together more of the story. Charles works at Jenna's company, in some higher-up position. There were references to his situation that needed to be finalized before they could be together openly. I'm guessing he's either married or there's some company policy against them dating. The worst part? They were planning a trip to Miami next month. The same week Jenna told me she had a work conference. She was literally going to be on a beach with this dude while I was at home planning our future. I wanted to confront her right there. Just wake her up and end it. But something stopped me. If I confronted her too soon, she'd twist it. Turn it into a sob story. Gaslight me. Deny. Deflect. And maybe even delete the proof before I could show anyone. She was already planning to play me. If I gave her a heads up, she'd just get better at hiding it. I wasn't about to give her that advantage. No. I needed undeniable evidence. A plan. Something that would leave no room for her lies. She wanted to control the game, but I was about to flip the board. So I took screenshots of everything, then carefully put her phone back. The next day, I called Luke. He came over while Jenna was at work, with Charles, I'm guessing. And I showed him everything. "Jesus," he said, scrolling through the screenshots. "This is cold, man. She's been playing you this whole time." "But why?" I asked. "Why not just break up with me? Why make me go through another proposal just to humiliate me later?" Luke thought about it. "From these texts, it sounds like this Charles guy is her real target. But he's not available yet. You're just her backup plan until he's free." The backup plan. The safety net. The fucking transition guy. "You need to be smart about this," Luke said after a while. "She's planning to blindside you. Why not return the favor?" I'm not normally a vengeful dude, but something in me snapped. After seeing those messages, the way she talked about me, the future they were planning while I was saving for our future, yeah, I decided to play the long game. So I kept pretending everything was fine. I talked about our future, started planning a second proposal, all that while I was getting my shit together. Moved half our savings to a new account she couldn't access. Started looking for a new apartment. Documented everything in case she tried to turn our friends against me later. I also did some digging on Charles. Turns out he's the marketing director at Jenna's company, her boss's boss. And guess what? He's married with 2 kids. His situation that needs finalizing is apparently his divorce, which according to their texts has been almost done for months. The hardest part was acting normal. Every time Jenna kissed me or talked about our future, I had to resist the urge to call her out. Every time she said she was working late, she was with him. I just said, "Miss you, babe," and brought her favorite takeout when she got home. Milo's been my wingman through it all. He's the only one who didn't lie to me. You can tell a lot about people, but cats? They're always straight with you. That cat watched me with these sad eyes when I was alone in the apartment, like he knew his family was about to break up. I'd already decided I was taking him when I left. Jenna didn't even clean his litter box, just posted cute pics of him on Instagram for the likes. Oh, and I found something else interesting. Luke's cousin works at the same company as Jenna. Turns out Charles's wife doesn't know he's planning to leave. He's been telling Jenna the divorce is almost final for months, but he hasn't even filed the paperwork yet. He's playing her just like she's playing me. So I waited, gathering more evidence, planning my exit. Jenna thought she was so clever that I was just her oblivious backup plan while she secured her upgrade. She had no idea what was coming, and I wasn't about to tip my hand early. If she wanted to play games, I'd play along. I let her lead the way, let her think she was in control, which is how I ended up at Tiffany's, smiling like the perfect boyfriend while she tried on diamonds. But that ring shopping was a special kind of hell. Jenna tried on about 20 different rings, finally settling on this massive rock that costs more than my car. I smiled and said it was perfect, that she deserved the best. She was practically glowing, kept kissing me in the store. "I can't wait to tell everyone," she said on the way home. "Tara's going to be so jealous." I bet she will be, I thought, especially when she finds out what's really going on. The sales guy said the ring would take 3 to 4 weeks to size properly. Perfect timing, I told Jenna. That'll give me time to plan a proposal you'll never forget. She loved that. Started throwing out ideas, maybe on the beach or at that rooftop restaurant downtown. I just nodded along, saying they were all great ideas. That night, she was extra affectionate. The whole time I was thinking about those texts to Charles, how she was planning to accept my proposal then dump me later. It took everything in me to play my part. Speaking of Charles, I learned more about him from Luke's cousin. Charles has been with the firm for 5 years, heads the marketing department, and has a reputation as a player. He's been telling Jenna he's almost divorced, but in reality, he hasn't even started the process. His wife thinks they're working on their marriage. They even went to couples therapy last month. Jenna has no idea she's being played too. Part of me wanted to tell her, watch her world collapse like mine did. But that would ruin my plan. So I kept quiet, kept playing the adoring boyfriend. A few days later, Jenna mentioned her work conference in Miami next month. "I'll miss you so much," she said, not meeting my eyes. "But it's a big opportunity for my career." "I'm proud of you," I told her. "Maybe I can fly down for the weekend to surprise you." The look of panic on her face was priceless. "No, I mean, we'll be in meetings the whole time. You'd be bored and I'd feel guilty for ignoring you." "You're right," I said. "I'll just plan something special for when you get back." She relaxed instantly. So predictable. I've been laying it on thick with the romance stuff. Left my laptop open one night with a custom jeweler's website, one fancier than Tiffany's. When Jenna saw it, her eyes went wide. "What's this?" she asked. "Damn, it was supposed to be a surprise," I said. "I know we picked the Tiffany ring, but I was thinking of getting something custom made. Something unique, just like you." She practically melted, told me I was the sweetest guy ever, how lucky she was. Then she texted someone while I was brushing my teeth. Charles, no doubt, updating him on how well her plan was working. The next day I checked our joint account. She withdrew $2,000. "Shopping with the girls," she claimed. "Yeah, right. Probably buying new bikinis from Miami with Charles. I don't even care about the money anymore. I've moved most of my savings already. What I care about is how easily she lies to my face, how she's planning to string me along, letting me spend thousands on a ring, planning a proposal, all while she's setting up her new life with Charles. Luke thinks I'm taking it too far. Just confront her and be done with it," he told me. "This whole charade is messing with your head." Maybe he got a point, but every time I thought about walking away, that text hit me like a punch. "I'll say yes, play along, then dump him once everything's settled with your situation. He'll be crushed, but that's not my problem." Nah, I was seeing this through. If she's planning to humiliate me, she's got another thing coming. I'm setting the stage for the second proposal next month, right after her Miami trip. Deposits are down, invites sent to friends and family. Everyone's hyped, especially her parents, who've always thought I was the perfect guy for their daughter. She thinks she's going to enjoy her secret vacation with Charles, then come back to her safe, reliable Blake, who's planning the perfect proposal. She has no idea what's actually waiting for her. When she left for her work conference in Miami, kissed me goodbye, Promised to call every night, the whole act. I played my part, helped her pack, drove her to the airport, told her how much I'd miss her. The minute she was through security, I went into action. I'd been planning this for weeks, and now it was go time. I moved all my essential stuff to my new apartment. Not everything. That would have been too obvious when she got back. Just the important things. Documents, family stuff, electronics, and of course Milo. Got him set up at the new place with all his favorite toys. Then I activated the nuclear option. Remember Charles's wife? The one who supposedly was nearly divorced but actually had no idea? I found her on Facebook weeks ago but hadn't made contact. Now I sent her everything. Screenshots of texts between Jenna and Charles, their Miami plans, the entire timeline of their affair. Everything. She responded within hours. Was devastated but grateful to know. Said Charles had done this before. That they were in counseling because of his last affair. She asked for my number, and we actually talked for almost 2 hours. Turns out Charles had told Jenna he was loaded, but the truth is his wife has all the money. Family wealth, she's a corporate lawyer. The house, the cars, the fancy vacations, all hers. But here's where it gets interesting. Sarah, Charles's wife, decided she was done. While Charles was in Miami with Jenna, she cleared out their bank accounts, changed the locks, and had divorce papers ready to serve him the minute he got home. But she wanted to coordinate with me for maximum impact. These cheaters deserve each other, she told me. But they also deserve to know exactly what they're getting. So we made a plan. Charles and Jenna were coming back on Sunday. I still had the second proposal set up for Tuesday night. But this wasn't just a plan. It was an ambush. Meticulously laid out like the final move in a high-stakes chess game. Every piece was already in place. Timing, precision, execution. Jenna and Charles wouldn't know what hit them until the trap snapped shut. By the time they realized what was happening, it would be too late. Game over. I booked a private room at the Reserve, the fanciest restaurant in the city. All our friends and family were going to be there to witness my proposal. Except I made some changes to the guest list, added Sarah. Removed the string quartet and champagne. Added a projector and screen. Sunday night, Jenna came home from Miami glowing with her tan and full of stories about marketing seminars and networking events. She showed me some generic hotel pictures like I was an idiot who wouldn't recognize a romantic getaway. I just smiled and said I was glad she had a good time. I missed you so much, she lied. Work trips are so exhausting. Well, get some rest, I told her. We've got a big night on Tuesday. A celebration. Her eyes lit up. The proposal? I nodded. I want to do it right this time. The way you deserve. She threw her arms around me. Told me how much she loved me. I forced myself to hug her back, wondering how many times she'd said those same words to Charles that week. Monday and Tuesday were torture. Keeping up the act, listening to her on the phone with Tara, discussing what she'd wear, how she'd act surprised. All while I was finalizing things with Sarah and Luke. Tuesday evening finally arrived. I told Jenna I needed to go to the restaurant early to make sure everything was perfect. She said she'd meet me there. Tara was coming over to help her get ready. What Jenna didn't know was that I'd timed things specifically. Charles was supposed to be at a late meeting, according to their texts, but would actually be receiving divorce papers at his office around 6 p.m. Sarah made sure of it. I got to the Reserve early. The manager knew the real deal. Luke's brother works there and helped set everything up. The private room was ready, but not with rose petals and drinks. Instead, there was the projector, screen, and enough chairs for everyone. Our friends started arriving around 7. I'd told them there was going to be a surprise, but not what kind. They all thought they were there for a proposal. Even Jenna's parents came. They'd always treated me like a son. At 7:30, Jenna arrived looking stunning in a new dress, probably bought with that $2,000 from our joint account. She seemed confused by the room setup, but I guided her to a seat in the center. "What's going on?" she asked, noticing there was no romantic dinner table, just chairs facing a screen. "You wanted a proposal I'd never forget," I said. So that's what I planned. Then Sarah walked in. Jenna didn't know her, just looked confused. Luke started the projector. And there it was, a slideshow titled The Real Jenna and Charles Story, beginning with their texts about me, the ones where she explicitly said, "I'll say yes, play along, then dump him once everything's settled." It continued with their Miami pictures. Yes, Sarah had access to Charles's cloud, and ended with screenshots of Jenna withdrawing money from our joint account to pay for it all. Jenna's face went from confusion to horror to rage. She lunged for the projector, but Luke blocked her. "What the fuck is this?" she screamed. "Who are all these people?" "These are our friends," I said calmly. "The ones you were going to celebrate our engagement with. And this," I gestured to Sarah, "is Charles's wife, Not ex-wife. Current wife. Jenna looked like she'd been slapped. You're lying. They're getting divorced. He showed me the papers. Sarah stepped forward. The only divorce papers are the ones he received an hour ago. And trust me, he's not getting a dime. As for us, I continued, I think it's clear there won't be a proposal tonight. Or ever. That's when Jenna lost it. Started screaming that I'd set her up, that I'd invaded her privacy, that I was a controlling asshole. Our friends just sat there in shock, watching the slideshow repeat with new images. Jenna and Charles together. Her messages to Tara about how she was just stringing me along until Charles was available. Then came the text that broke her. Of course I don't love Blake anymore. He's just my safety net until you're ready. Then I'll break his heart. I enjoy being a heartbreaker. Her parents looked devastated. Her mom was crying. Her dad couldn't even look at her. You ruined everything, she screamed, mascara running down her face. No, Jenna. You did that all by yourself. She tried to turn our friends against me, claiming the texts were fake, that I was manipulating everyone. But then her phone pinged. A text from Charles. Jenna, we need to talk. Sarah knows everything. She's leaving me. I need a place to stay. I read it fast, glancing at her phone. The timing couldn't have been more perfect. Jenna's face just crumpled as she read it. She knew it was over. The manager came in because of the yelling. I apologized, paid the bill for the room, and told everyone they were welcome to stay for dinner on me. But I had somewhere else to be. As I walked out, Jenna grabbed my arm. Blake, please, she begged. We can work this out. I made a mistake. I love you. I just looked at her. You loved what I could provide. There's a difference. What about Milo? She asked, like the cat was her last bargaining chip. He's happy at my new place, I said. And trust me, he won't miss you. You only cared about him for the Instagram likes anyway. Then I walked out, leaving her standing there, caught between our friends, her parents, and Sarah. Heard later she tried to follow me, but her own dad shut that down. Told her she needed to stay and deal with the mess she'd made. Walking out of that room felt like dropping a weight I didn't even realize I'd been carrying. The silence behind me was louder than her screaming could ever be. For the first time in months, I felt free. No more second guessing, no more pretending, no more walking on eggshells. Just me, my dignity, and Milo waiting for me at home. Last I heard, Charles and Jenna still together. But it's far from the fairy tale they thought they'd have. Charles's divorce went through, but Sarah wrecked him financially. The prenup plus proof of his cheating meant he walked away with basically nothing. Now he's stuck living in Jenna's crappy studio apartment, working at a car dealership after his old company fired him for the office affair. Jenna tried damage control for weeks, called and texted from different numbers until I had to get a restraining order. Showed up at my work twice, crying about how sorry she was, how Charles had manipulated her. Security had to escort her out both times. The most pathetic part? She actually posted everywhere that she's been financially abused and needed help getting back on her feet. Posted this whole story about how I'd controlled all our money, LOL, and left her with nothing. It got shut down after Tara and several other friends commented with the truth. She eventually reached out to my mom, they'd been close, begging for help getting in touch with me. Mom told her, "You made your choices. Now live with them." Actually, shit got even crazier just the other day. I was at home, relaxing, when my intercom started blowing up like crazy. Checked the camera, Jenna, looking like a wreck, screaming my name. I didn't move, just watched as she slammed the buzzer over and over like a lunatic. "Blake, I know you're up there. Just talk to me." She was shrieking so loud the neighbors started coming out. I let her keep making a fool of herself for a minute before finally pushing the talk button. "Leave before I call the cops." My voice was calm, bored even. "You've ruined my life," she wailed. "Charles is cheating on me. He never loved me. I made a mistake. Please just let me up so we can talk." I almost laughed. "That sounds like a you problem, Jenna. Not mine." She started full-on sobbing, right there in front of my building. "Everything's falling apart. I lost my job. We're getting evicted. I have nobody left." For half a second, I almost felt bad. Almost. Then I remembered those texts. How she planned to string me along, humiliate me, leave me broken. Goodbye, Jenna. And with that, I turned off the intercom and went back to my night like she never existed. She stayed outside for another hour, alternating between screaming, crying, and begging. Finally, one of my neighbors actually did call the cops, and they escorted her away. I added that incident to my restraining order file the next day. As for Milo, he's thriving. Got him this fancy cat tree for the apartment that he absolutely loves. Jenna still occasionally posts throwback photos of him on her Instagram, acting like he's still with her. It's sad, really. Now for the good stuff. Remember Sarah, Charles's ex-wife? We kept in touch after everything went down. Nothing romantic at first, just two people processing similar betrayals. We'd grab coffee every couple weeks, text about our progress moving on. She's actually pretty cool. Way too good for Charles. About 3 months ago, those coffee meetups turned into dinner. Dinner turned into weekend hikes. You can probably see where this is going. We've been officially dating for 2 months now. Taking it slow, both still healing, but it's been really good. She's smart, successful, and most importantly, honest. We joke that we have the most solid foundation ever. We've already seen each other at our absolute worst and helped each other through it. Luke, my buddy who helped with the restaurant plan, thinks it's poetic justice. The two people they screwed over found happiness together, he said. I wouldn't go that far yet, but I'm happier than I've been in a long time. I ran into Tara at the grocery store last week. She mentioned Jenna got fired from her job and is trying to start some kind of social media consulting business. Apparently, it's not going well. She also said Jenna and Charles fight constantly. He resents her for not being as wealthy as Sarah, and she resents him for not being the meal ticket she thought she was getting. Sometimes I think about how close I came to proposing a second time, to actually buying that overpriced Tiffany ring she wanted. How I almost fell for the act. If I hadn't overheard that conversation at the coffee shop, if Luke hadn't given me that wake-up call, I might be engaged to her right now, oblivious to what was really going on behind my back. Instead, I'm sitting here in my own place, with my cat purring next to me, and plans to meet Sarah for dinner later. Life takes weird turns sometimes. The important thing is, I'm moving forward. I don't check Jenna's social media anymore. Don't ask mutual friends about her. She's just someone I used to know, who taught me a valuable lesson about trust. Sarah and I have talked about what we'd do if we ever run into Jenna and Charles together. We decided we'd just smile, say hello, and keep walking. The best revenge isn't some elaborate scheme. It's living well and being genuinely happy. So that's it. The Jenna saga is over. Thanks for reading this whole thing. If you're still here, you're a real one. Oh, and if you're reading this and suspect your partner is cheating, trust your gut. It's usually right. Edit. No, Sarah and I didn't plan to start dating. It just happened naturally. And yes, we're both very aware of the irony. Edit 2. To those asking for pet tax, here's Milo enjoying his new cat tree. Link removed. The king of the castle.